everybody, this is Steve Moore, owner of Run More, this brick and mortar running shop located in Westminster, Maryland. Today, we'll be talking about the brand new Altra Lone Peak 7. This shoe is due out January of 2023. This is Altra's most popular shoe. This is, even though it's a trail shoe, this is the shoe that started the whole brand. And for us, even though Altra now has a ton of great road stuff and some other great trail stuff, this is still the shoe that most people come in looking for. I actually was just at a running convention last week in Texas, and I started talking to other shoe stores about what models they carry, what has worked for them. A lot of people that do carry Altra, they might only carry like 2 or 3 models, and everybody I spoke to, this was one that was always on in their regular shoe wall of stuff that they carry from Altra is the Lone Peak, and that's because of has a great street credit. It is that shoe that so many people over the years have tried. Again, it's a shoe that's very easy and very approachable to get into if you're looking to dabble a little bit in the trail world. I think part of the reason why people have always liked this shoe, it's been a long time, it's been around, obviously, like I said, this was the first Altra shoe ever, and because of that, this has one of those original fit shoes. You know, the people that have been with Altra for a long time, some of their shoes widths have changed, and that's one of the things that people really love about Altra is that rounded foot-shaped toe box. And over the years and over the models, things have sort of changed with that, but luckily the Lone Peak is still that original fit, so it has that nice, very forgiving rounded foot-shaped toe box. And in fact, this is one of the 2 models that comes in a wide version as well. There'll be a couple more that you'll see in end of 2023 that will be coming in a standard and a wide. But the Lone Peak Natural, the original just standard Lone Peak, has an original fit, but it also does have an even wider fit, which would be more like a 4E person shoe. So if you're looking at something that's even a 4E, that would be where I would go, would be a wide Lone Peak. This shoe has the same stack height that it's been. It's a 25 millimeter stack height. But besides that, everything else seems pretty different from where we've been on previous versions. We've changed the upper quite a bit here. It's a much more forgiving and better secure fit upper on this. The last one was fine. It could get a little bit bunchy. This one just seems to be a little more locked in place where it's been. The other one also had a lot more going on in the toe box. I'm actually just going to kind of hold the other one up, and you can see sort of the drainage that was going on version 6 of it, and they replaced that with more of a more durable and more protected toe cap to it. It's going to be a little more water resistant this way, so instead of having sort of drainage holes that let things come in and out, this is going to try to keep you a little more protected, but also a little more durable for what you're doing out on the trail. The outsole is pretty consistent from where we've been. They're still using their Maxtrac Outsole, which is nice. It's luggy, it's grippy. It's not a Vibram outsole, but quite honestly, this is plenty for almost everybody I talk to. There's very few people that say that they don't feel like they have enough protection on muddy, crappy terrain in a Lone Peak. This is a very good shoe for doing anything out there. Even like the material, excuse me, I'm gonna put, wrong one. Even the outsole pattern on this is great to kind of kick away any stuff that's on your feet. It's very rare that you finish and you have that, like, you know, if you ever go play golf and you have like golf shoes on and you can literally see like the entire course stuck to your shoe. This isn't like that at all. This cleans up pretty good when you're running through it, and it stayed that way, and it is because it's a lower stack height shoe. It doesn't feel overly off balance if you're running into it. It's a shoe that's very sneaky amount of cushion. Again, I always sort of equate this shoe, like it looks like a casual shoe. It looks like a, you know, I use the term like a van or a skater shoe because it's so low and it's just such an unassuming shoe. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. It's a very unassuming looking trail shoe. But with this EGO Midsole that they use, it's very cushy. It's so sneaky cushioned when you put it on. And I think a lot of times if I'm pulling this for somebody and they say I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail or I'm getting ready for the JFK 50-mile race and I need something that I can go longer in, when I pull this shoe out, then you compare it to like a Timp or an Olympus, or even something from Hoka, you're like, well, this is not going to be very protective underfoot. It's surprisingly cushioned. It's very great for that way because you're going to get all that protection underfoot, but not feel like you have to be so off balance in a tall stack height shoe. And again, I use that term approachable with this on a trail shoe because somebody that does come in and they're brand new to trail and they do pick up something like an Olympus and you want to go out and actually run on it, it can be a little bit of an adjustment period. I myself on like a taller stack height trail shoe, I'm much more likely to fall and I misjudge if I'm jumping something. That I can clip myself much easier on a taller stack height shoe. And this being lower, you're getting cushion and protection, but it's a much more manageable way to kind of be more nimble and agile when you're going through the trail. This shoe also added a little bit of stability to it. I think that of all the things that they changed is the most important to kind of highlight here. Is this is not a stable trail shoe that it's classified that way, but they added a little bit of protection around the heel, and sort of where it is, it almost reminds me of the new Provision 7, where it kind of sits back here. You can kind of see it's a little bit plasticky. It's a little bit harder there, where you are much softer and squishier here around the heel cup. So it's a very light version of like a guide rail system on your heel. You can kind of feel locked in a little bit better on this, just to prevent any little bit of side motion that you may have. And people do ask me from time to time, like, I'm more flat-footed, what's a good trail for that? And really, for the most part, trail shoes are just sort of trail shoes. There's not a whole lot of, this is a max stability trail shoe versus a neutral trail shoe. So now we've added just a little bit to kind of accommodate everybody. And because it is just subtle, if you're somebody with perfect feet, have no real need for any type of stability, you're not going to notice it. But if you're somebody who really does require a little bit of extra stability, or maybe you put an insert, a super feet, a custom orthotic in your trail shoes, your everyday shoes, you might be able to get away without it on this shoe. And really, when we talk about somebody coming in looking to add something to a trail shoe or stability, I usually don't stress it that much, just because of what you're doing on the trail with all the undulations and ups and downs and all the good stuff that you're hopefully doing when you're out there. You're not necessarily finding yourself pronating or anything like that when you're going, because you're never on sort of the same spot twice. It's much more obvious if you're on a treadmill or a flat plane, if you're constantly moving in, but you don't necessarily have that on a trail. So you don't need a whole lot of stability. This tiny little bit here will hopefully be just enough to accommodate anybody who needs that little bit. And that to me is a really nice selling point for somebody who's coming in and just, even if it's just in the back of your mind that I always wear a stability shoe, I'm always in, a Brooks Adrenaline, and I can't imagine going to something that's totally flat and neutral like this. This should give you a little bit better peace of mind that you're going to be better protected out there. Speaking of protection, this shoe, unlike some of the other trail shoes that we carry, this is a model that always has a stone guard built into it. So inside this shoe is like a little nice thin piece of, I say Kevlar just because it gives you something to think about, but it's like something that's not going to let you get stabbed if you're on somewhere sharp. Obviously, it's not a flawless system, but it's definitely more protective than some of the other shoes out there, which is also nice. If you think about a really tall stack height shoe like the Olympus, for example, doesn't have a stone guard in there, but you've got 10 feet of cushion underneath your foot. So if you're on something really sharp and it goes all the way through that shoe to your foot, then you're just in some bad luck on where you're at. This shoe, you can be on where you're going to be on your everyday trail, somewhere rocky, and if you step on something, it really should kind of help to keep your foot safe and protected if you are stepping on that. We still have our Velcro on the heel, and a nice, this is already sort of integrated with a spot to put your gator trap, which I call your turtleneck for your shin there. It's going to kind of protect your foot if you need it. If you're somewhere with lots of muckety muck and crap that you don't want to get on your shoes, this will easily fit up to a gator trap. And Altra actually has their own gator traps that work on other trail shoes as well, but if you were trying to match your whole outfit, you can get an Altra style gator trap that will fit your Lone Peak or any other Altra trail shoe that you're trying to get with it. This shoe did add a couple bucks to it, so this shoe went from $140 to $150. But by making a couple different adjustments on this, that's still in line with most of the other trail shoes that are out there. When I first started carrying Ultras, when I opened my store in 2014, these shoes, they were $110, $120. So we just keep seeing the prices go up, which is pretty universal across the board out there. Pretty much all my shoes are going up, but I feel like at least they're adding some value to make this shoe cost a couple bucks more. By making this shoe a little bit more stable, it should hopefully add a little bit more protection for people. I like the addition of changing the toe cap on this. I think that's a nice update, and the fit is just a little bit better for me. So this is the Lone Peak 7. It's available. We actually have it available for pre-order on our website right now. These shoes should start shipping out end of December, early January. So feel free to go and shop. And if you enter promo code RUNMORE, you'll save 10% and we'll ship it out for free on the new Lone Peak 7. If you have any questions on this or any other shoe, feel free to leave it down below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. If you do me a solid and like and subscribe to our channel, it certainly helps me find some new people out there. And thanks for all the nice things we see. Actually, like I said, I was just at a conference and I met a bunch of people that actually watch our channel, which is really cool. So thank you for supporting our little shop and supporting our channel. And happy running out there. And as always, I hope to see you around town.